What day did Jesus keep? The Sabbath debate settled. For centuries, the Sabbath debate has divided Christians. Did Jesus change the Sabbath to Sunday? Or did he keep the seventh day holy, just as God commanded? The answer is clear, and it may surprise you. Let's examine the Bible itself and settle the Sabbath debate once and for all. Did Jesus keep the Sabbath? The Bible leaves no doubt about which day Jesus observed. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read. Luke 4:16, KJV. Jesus had a custom, a habit, of keeping the seventh-day Sabbath. If Jesus had changed the Sabbath, wouldn't he have told his disciples? Even after his resurrection, his followers still observed the Sabbath, and they returned and prepared spices and ointments and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment, Luke 23:56 KJV. Why would they rest on the Sabbath according to the commandment after Jesus' resurrection if the Sabbath had been abolished? Because Jesus never changed it. What about Sunday worship? Many claim that Jesus' resurrection on Sunday changed the Sabbath. But where in the Bible does Jesus command Sunday worship? The truth? Nowhere. Not once did Jesus or the apostles command worship on Sunday instead of the seventh-day Sabbath. Instead, we see the apostles still keeping the Sabbath long after Jesus' resurrection. And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scriptures. Acts 17:2 KJV. And when the Jews were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. Acts 13:42 KJV. Even Gentiles were keeping the Sabbath. If Sunday had replaced the Sabbath, wouldn't the apostles have said something? Who changed the Sabbath? If Jesus never changed the Sabbath, then who did? The Catholic Church openly admits that they changed the Sabbath, not by God's authority, but by their own power. We observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. The Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine, 1937, 1050. Sunday is our mark of authority. The Church is above the Bible, and this transference of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. Catholic Record, September 1, 1923. The Catholic Church took the pagan Sunday and made it the Christian Sunday. The Catholic World, March 1894, Plausen 809. The Sabbath change was not biblical, it was a man-made decision. Protestant churches admit the Sabbath is Saturday. Even Protestant denominations who claim to follow Scripture alone admit that Saturday is the biblical Sabbath. Baptist Church. There was and is a commandment to keep holy the Sabbath day, but that Sabbath day was not Sunday. Dr. Edward T. Hiscox, The Baptist Manual, 1893. Methodist Church. The reason we observe the first day instead of the seventh is based on no positive command. One will search the Scriptures in vain for authority for changing from the seventh day to the first. Clovis G. Chappell, 10 Rules for Living, pin 61. Lutheran Church. The observance of the Lord's Day, Sunday, is founded not on any command of God, but on the authority of the Church. Augsburg Confession, Article Vitae. If Sunday worship is not biblical, why do Protestants still follow a Catholic tradition? The final challenge. Will you follow Jesus or tradition? If Sunday worship is biblical, then answer these questions. Where in the Bible did Jesus command Sunday worship? No such verse exists. If the Sabbath was abolished, why did Jesus and his disciples still keep it after his resurrection? Luke 23:56, Acts 13:42-44, Acts 16:13. If the Sabbath was changed to Sunday, why do Protestant churches admit that Saturday is the true Sabbath? We ought to obey God rather than men. Acts 5:29, KJV. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Revelation 14:12 KJV. The Sabbath debate is settled. Now that you know the truth, what will you do? Will you follow Jesus or follow tradition?